What is going on, you guys? This is All Day Any Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you another Defiance 2050 video. So this is going to be for my my 5 weapon builds for this week. So I know I said that I was going to be doing this every week or every other week, but I got busy or I may have been getting lazy. But I'm going to be trying my best to do this every week or every other week. So we're going to go ahead and start with the first weapon. So weapon number 1 is going to be the Digger Top Notch. So Digger is definitely one of the strongest, if not the strongest, detonator in the game on impact. I wouldn't say blast radius wise. Blast radius, it's got a very small blast radius. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at the stats or the bonuses I put on it, as well as the mods. So the bonuses, I have damage, blast radius, and full damage radius. Now, if you are very accurate with the detonator, then don't even worry about having blast radius, because you're going to have blast radius anyways on your mods. But on the modified bonuses, what I would highly recommend is damage, minimum damage, and full damage radius. When I say minimum damage, that just means there's a minimum and then there's a maximum damage that the explosives have. So both rockets and detonators both have minimum and maximum damage. So you want to have You do want to have a minimum damage on the bonuses for this weapon, just because of the fact that it increases the lowest amount of damage you can put out, which is going to be really useful. And the reason why you also want full damage radius is because when the enemy is at the end of the splash damage, so like they're on just the edge of the radius of the digger, or the explosive, I suppose, they will normally take very low damage, or they just won't take as much damage as if they were in the center of it. But with full damage radius, it increases the amount of damage they take. So that's why I would highly recommend having all 3 of those: damage, full damage radius, and minimum damage. Now, like I said, if you are not very accurate with detonators, then blast radius might be something you want to go with. But even with that, it's still not that big of a blast radius. Now on the mods, I have fire rate, damage, reload, and blast radius. On the ammo, it's all up to you. For me, I generally don't go with any ammo on my explosives, just because it just balances it out for all enemy types. So if they have shields or armor or nothing, it does the same amount of damage, and it still hits extremely hard. Obviously, it'll hit harder if you had fire against someone with health, or corrosive against someone with shield or armor, etc, etc. But the reason why I have fire rate on my stock is so that way I can just keep spamming. Technically, I can keep spamming the digger, and then the reload speed from the magazine lets me reload extremely fast. So that is a legendary mod as well. The reload magazine mod is a legendary. But I mean, obviously when you're at a higher power level, the higher your power level is, the higher your mods bonuses will be. So if you're like at 200 power and you end up getting a mod with reload speed, it's probably going to be like at 2, so you won't see that big of a difference. But with the digger, so this is how it's going to look like when you shoot. The fire rate's not too bad, and then the reload speed is pretty much instant. And yeah, and then obviously you want to have damage. So the reason why I went with damage on the barrel instead of minimum damage is because damage on the barrel just increases damage overall, not just the minimum. It increases both minimum and maximum damage. So that's pretty much it with the digger, and we're going to go on to the next one. So the next thing we're going to go over is the Longshot AT4 Von Bach. So I have 2 of them. One of them is higher than the other in power, but the purple one that I have here is pretty much set to the way I want it to be built. It is built pretty much perfectly, except for the stock. I didn't want the fire rate stock. But anyways, so the Longshot AT4 Von Bach has extremely, really good projectile velocity on it without the mod and without the bonus. It has a really fast rocket, although with the really fast rocket, it's going to shoot, the damage is going to be a little bit less, but you do have 2 shots. So to me, this is kind of like what that used to be before the nerf when it comes to projectile velocity as well as the damage. With the damage, obviously the 2 in the mag is going to be equal to the 1 shot that had. But with the Longshot AT4 Von Buck, the stats I have on it is reload, projectile velocity, and damage. The reason why I stacked even more projectile velocity is because I like having my rockets hitting the target instantly, making it to where the target can't even really react to it. So if you're kind of close to them, they're not going to be able to move from it. If you're fighting a bunch of hellbugs, the skitterlings won't be able to run away as easily or run around. You'll be able to hit them pretty easily. Now, I don't have blast radius on this. The blast radius on this weapon is fairly decent. It does say it has a large blast radius, but to me it doesn't feel like it's that big of a blast radius. But then again, I haven't really tried it against other rocket launchers or launchers. But on the mods, I have fire rate, damage, reload, and projectile velocity. Everything there is right except for the fire rate. For the stock, I'd rather put something like recoil. I don't know if you can put recoil on it, actually, now that I think about it. If you can't put recoil, then just keep the fire rate, because there's nothing better than just shooting 2 rockets really fast and then reloading really quick. But yeah, if you can get recoil on your stock, I would highly recommend that, because the rocket launcher, it bounces up. Like every other rocket should, it bounces up after you shoot. And for me, I like to shoot both of my rockets at a time and then reload it, so that way I know for a fact I'm going to kill the enemy, which is good with the fire rate because you can shoot it quick, but the reload speed, the recoil kind of messes it up. But aside from that, all of this is pretty much how you want to go with the Longshot AT4. Because like I said, it feels just like how that used to feel, aside from having one shot and a faster reload speed. The 2 shots make up for it, and the projectile velocity makes it even better. Alright, and next we have the repeater top notch. So the repeater top notch is a semi-auto sniper. It's not a bolt action or anything, so generally it's not going to hit as hard. But the repeater top notch, it is a high damaging semi-auto sniper, which makes it even better. To me, it hits extremely hard. So the stats you're going to go with on it is the crit multiplier, recoil, and damage. Now you can switch recoil out with something like fire rate or something like reload, but I wouldn't recommend going with accuracy, to be honest, just because accuracy doesn't really matter too much with snipers unless you're just trying to hip fire everything. But the crit multiplier and damage is for sure the 2 stats you want to have on a sniper no matter what, because snipers are meant mainly to do high damage, and then if an enemy has this weak spot, it's meant to hit the weak spot. So the repeater top notch does damage, has a high amount of damage just by itself, and then it increases even more when you have that bonus stat on it, and then the crit multiplier increases the damage output even more. So with the recoil, I would have rather switched the recoil out with something like either fire rate or I suppose reload speed, but that's what the mods are for. So on the mods, on my stock, I have fire rate, and then I have damage, and then magazine I have reload. And on the sight, I don't have anything because I didn't have a sight that I liked, because I don't like using the high scope, so the high powered scope, I suppose that's what's called. So right here it'll say scope that provides a higher level of zoom than the base scope. I don't like that. I don't like the higher level of zoom, especially on the semi-autos. I like to keep the zoom the way it is at mid-range. These ones are meant for long range, generally for like bolt action snipers. The lower level zoom is fine, that one works perfectly well. But the scope that this sniper already has, whoops, not the right class. So the scope that this sniper already has just by itself is the sniper scope that I prefer, like this, because it doesn't zoom in too much, because when I zoom in too much it just messes me up, and yeah, I just can't really hit the enemies. But yeah, and then on the ammo I put fire on it because I just like having fire damage on my snipers, on most of my weapons except for like rocket launchers and detonators. But that's pretty much it for this specific weapon. we're going to go on to the next. And now the next weapon that we're going to go with is the XAR-37 Sovereign Von Bach. So this one is one of my new favorite assault rifles. Honestly, I like all three assault rifles. Mozzie Blast because of the fire rate, Retaliator because of the damage, the base damage, and then XAR-37 Sovereign. I like this one because of the high criticals. So with this, it says it's a fully automatic standard military assault weapon with a high critical value and strong recoil. So the reason why I like this is because of the fact that it focuses on crits, and I can put my barrel and my bonus to focus on damage. So it kind of balances out. So with this weapon, on the modified bonuses, I have accuracy, damage, and recoil. Kind of the same thing as my Mozzie Blast. But the reason why I have to put recoil on this, because the recoil on this weapon is pretty crazy. And the reason why I also have accuracy is because I just like having a really small reticle. And also you only get you get 24 shots in the mag before it runs out, before you have to reload. So that's why I like having my accuracy pretty high. Now, if you don't want the accuracy, I would highly recommend keeping either accuracy or recoil, depending on whichever one you like. I would go with reload speed then, because there's nothing better than having a fast reload time, because the faster your reload is, the more damage you're basically going to pump. And then for my modified bonuses, I put recoil, damage, reload, accuracy, and then I didn't really mean to put shield penetrate. I just wanted to test it out and didn't like it, so I'm just going to replace it with the fire mod. Actually, can I replace it with electricity? Nah. So yeah, I would either put a fire mod on it or something, but I mean, anything works. I just don't like the dual. I don't like the dual mods. I don't like shield penetrate or the armor penetrate mods. But that's up to you. The ammo mods are completely up to you. It all depends on what enemies you're basically going to be facing the most. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this weapon. Like I said, this weapon focuses high on criticals. So what I would recommend is use this weapon on something like the Assassin, because the Assassin focuses on crits. Having this weapon on the Assassin would help the Assassin's damage output even more if you don't have an E-Rep already, because the E-Rep focuses high on the crits as well. So the last weapon we're going to go with is the FNX Raptor Selector. So with this weapon, it's a lock-on rocket launcher. So with the lock-on rocket launchers, these are good in some circumstances. The only problem about these is that it has a long time. It takes quite a bit of time to lock onto the enemy, or lock onto, like, let's say you're fighting Motherload and you need to pop one of these pimples. You would use this to lock onto one of them, and then if you lock onto it, you'll be able to hit it 100%. Most of the time. I wouldn't say 100%, but most of the time you'll hit it. But what I would highly recommend going with this is definitely go with projectile velocity, because if you can shoot fast, or if the rocket can hit the enemy really quick, that'll be really good. I mean, projectile velocity in general is going to help no matter what with any rocket launcher you're using. And then for this, I would also definitely go with blast radius and reload speed. I wouldn't worry, for me, I'm not worried too much about the damage on the lock-on rockets, but if you want to, you can definitely go with damage instead of the blast radius. But for me, the blast radius is going to be pretty important, because with lock-ons, you're generally going to, I would only see myself using lock-on rockets on Motherload. So if you have blast radius, you would have a higher chance of hitting multiple parts of him rather than just hitting a single one. So that's why, to me, I think blast radius would be more important. But projectile velocity, blast radius, and reload speed, to me, are the three main ones. And then on the modified mods, all the mods, so for stock, I would definitely just go with fire rate, because you don't need to worry about the recoil when you have lock on. So having a faster fire rate is definitely going to be better. Shoot all three of these out of the mag right away, and you get it back from reloading pretty quick. The barrel, I would just go with straight damage, always straight damage. On the magazine, I would go with reload speed, just because of the fact that you're going to be needing to reload a lot of times, and it's pretty slow reloading a rocket launcher anyway, so having a fast reload speed on a rocket launcher is going to help. On the sight, you can either go with blast radius or projectile velocity, whichever one you think is going to be worth it more. So like I said, projectile velocity makes the missile go faster, blast radius increases the impact radius. And then on the ammo, you can go with whatever you want on the ammo mod. And that is pretty much it with this whole 5 weapon builds. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section. I will try my best to post at the very least every other week or every week on these. I know I haven't, but I promise you guys I will try. But anyways, if you guys have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section. If you have a favorite weapon of your own, let me know as well. And if you want to see other weapon types, you can also let me know what type of weapons you want to see with certain builds. And you also have to remember that the power level does affect the weapons as well, like the utility of the weapon, for example the reload speed and the accuracy, recoil, etc, etc. The higher your power level is, the higher your bonuses will be, and the higher your mods will be as well, affecting those utilities on your weapon. But that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, like I said, let me know. This is All Day One on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.